Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Sunny. Welcome back to my channel. Or welcome for the first time if this is the first time you're here. Today I'm going to be basically giving my final thoughts on Man of Medan, reviewing it, so to speak. I did have 5 parts of a playthrough up on my YouTube channel here in the Let's Play playlist. So before we jump into that, hit this video, give it a thumbs up. Wow, that was jankety. But hit subscribe if you'd like to subscribe. It makes me feel nice, and it's free. I know that's shocking and you're shooketh, but yeah, to click subscribe, it's free. Anyway, so let's just jump into it. So, Man of Medan actually came out at the end of August in 2019. It was produced by Supermassive Games and Bandai, and it is an interactive story, horror theme. If you haven't heard about it, basically, you are playing as one of 5 characters. You go out and you're diving in this wreck that one of the characters found out about. And then eventually you end up on this ghost ship, and you're trying to get off of it and back to your ship and away from the craziness of the ghost ship. So there are some good things in here. If you didn't know, Supermassive Games also made the video game Until Dawn, which I've talked about before. It is a really great game. It's another interactive horror story, and it has the same amazing mocap and, the rendering of the actors where it looks like the actors. Until Dawn had 3 really big names that I can think of off the top of my head just really quick. It had Hayden Panettiere from Heroes, Brett Dalton from, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Rami Malek from Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian. or the other stuff that he's in that other people know him from. Bohemian Rhapsody or whatever. Anyway, and in this one, we have kind of more no names. It does have Shawn Ashmore in it. He was Iceman or Bobby from the original X-Men movies from Fox Searchlight. So I'd say he's probably, the more well-known out of them. But anyway, it had really, beautiful graphics, wonderful sound design. It really felt like you were on the water, in the water. It really felt like there was a storm going on. The thunder wasn't over the top, and the lightning and the rain sounds weren't, super repetitive or anything like that. It was a lot of wonderful environment-rich things, if you will. So that was really great. I enjoyed that aspect a lot. It also had, I would say, fairly limited use of jump scares. They were there. They were effective-ish. I'm one that always expects jump scares when they happen. I'm like, oh, this hand is gonna move, or oh, we're gonna get a loud rah, and then the face is gonna open up its mouth or something, or jump close to the camera or things like that. I watch a lot of horror. I play a lot of horror games. So I always am anticipating jump scares. So they don't always have that effect on me. If you remember in part 1 and part 2, there were 1 or 2 jump scares. And I just they happened and I was either silent or I was like, oh no, you got me. Because at the end of the day, jump scares don't really affect me, and if they do, I'm not scared because, oh, so alarming. It's more my body's natural response is, hey, there's a sudden loud sharp noise, what the fuck was that? Which, fair. And the setting was interesting. It really did make you feel isolated. The ocean was empty and vast, but then on the on the same side of the coin, you had that random fishing boat that showed up. So, it makes sense, I suppose, if they were just, like, looking for people from, like, the registered course that Fliss had sent in, because you have to register with the Coast Guard. So if maybe they had someone on the inside, or one of them was on the inside and they knew that they'd be there, things like that. So it was an interesting setting, and the ship was interesting to explore as well. It had those winding corridors and that like military aesthetic where it had the medical bay and the cargo bay. It had all of these great aspects to it that were fun to look around, and the decay of it as well, mixed in with the flashbacks of, oh, this is when it's working 100%, were very great and well done, and were exciting and interesting to explore. And I'm somebody that, if the game wants me to go left, I want to go right first so that I can explore this. I'm an achievement hunter. I'm a collectible hunter. I'm looking for those spaces that you're quote unquote not supposed to go or don't need to go to, because that's where most of the secrets are. And we'll discuss that aspect as well later on in this little podcast episode. But, like I said, we did have 5 characters. We had Fliss, Julia, Conrad, Brad, and Alex. Julia and Conrad were bro and sis. Brad and Alex were brothers. And Fliss was the captain of the Duke of Milan. And they had some really great interactions. We got to see Conrad flirting with Fliss. Every single time he did, I always shot him down, because yikes. And you got to see Brad and Alex interact. I will explain more on that and why I'm not saying much more than that later on, because you know what? Forget it. Let's just jump right into that, because that was the last thing that I had for the good stuff. For the not so great, let's jump into the limited character development. So the characterization of these 5 is so weird. Not only do we have 2 sibling relationships and then just, a hired captain, we have this flirting going on between Conrad and Fliss, which is just so awkward, and he's so douchey and pretentious. But you have the sibling aspects where Conrad doesn't really seem to care about Julia, and vice versa. And Alex and Brad don't really seem to care much about anything, really. But then we have Alex and Julia. They've been dating for a while, and he's gonna propose, but then Alex says one little thing, like, maybe you need to think about it. And he's like, fuck it, not proposing anymore. Like, really? Like, that's the best you could do? Couldn't he think on it? Couldn't he ask Conrad? Couldn't he get an unbiased third-party opinion from Fliss? Whew. And then, spoiler. In my playthrough, I killed Alex. I had him stab himself instead of just, waiting like the normal person would have done. And nothing. Like, I killed Conrad in the opening. I killed Alex towards the end. Conrad was Julia's brother, and Alex was Julia's boyfriend, and she doesn't really care, and Brad doesn't mention Alex at all. Like, what? Is serious? And then Fliss is just like, she don't give a fuck. She don't even know these people, really, which is, fair. They'd only been interacting for a few hours at best, and it's such a weird characterization for them. And I feel like they're no different at the end. Like, we don't know enough about them to really see them change, either for better or worse. Characters don't have to change after going through a traumatic experience. That's fine. But it just felt so lackluster. Like they had a seed of a great idea and they just couldn't deliver on it. And I know I'm being kind of nitpicky and a little more negative than I usually am, but I want to be honest about this game. So the characters just had unrealistic reactions, limited to no development whatsoever. It's just not that great, you know? Like, I hate to keep comparing it to Until Dawn, but I mean, same production company, same style, same tone. In Until Dawn, you had these characters that were, you know, some were kind of douchey, some were super, like, you know, shy and nervous. And at the end, you know, one of the characters was a bitch at the beginning, still a bitch at the end, just a little bit more scared. One of the characters who was super shy, you know, he's a lot better. And then you have the one character who is kind of the quirky, funny, oh, I'm super, like, not like other boys kind of character. And at the end, you find out that he's, you know, insane and murderous, which was fun. He changed, he grew, he developed. So they really needed to work on the characters. And I get that it was a short story. It's just supposed to be really short and self-contained, and that's fine. That's fair. But you need to have actual elements of a story in your narrative-driven game. Speaking of having character-driven aspects of the story, there was no appearance of the captain. Did I miss it? Did I not find that secret? Did I not, like, unlock that portion of the story? Like, where was this captain? You're supposed to be interacting with the captain. He's supposed to be, like, the main antagonist. Where was he? I didn't see him. Did you see him? I mean, the heck? What was that even? Oh my gosh. No captain. Completely disappointed. I didn't need like a big boss battle, but having him there would have given a little more weight to the story. One of the mechanics that I hated was the camera work. They were very wonky and weird and would angle it differently. Like maybe I was walking down a corridor and it angles into a different room. Is there something in that room? Is something going to come out? Is something going to move across the screen? Am I going to see a little light and maybe I can't explore this area yet? I've got to find it. No. It was just weird angles for the aesthetic, which, again, can be fine, but why not do a little more with it? There's no shame in putting just, like, a diseased body with, like, it clutching a premonition picture, and you can't get into it from there, but maybe in the next chapter, you end up in that room somehow, and now you can see the premonition picture. You know, things like that. Another thing that was so frustrating, if you watch my playthrough, those QTEs and heartbeats, I sucked at them. They usually happened, the QTEs anyway, usually happened when it was a long cutscene. So I'd have set my controller down, and I feel like they did that on purpose. To me, QTEs need to have bit of a larger purpose other than just like making sure you're still paying attention. Hey, remember, this is a game. Like the one that I failed with Conrad, he got shot in the freaking eye. Hi, Lilith. He got shot in the eye. And, like, I failed it once. There was only one QTE for that. Oh, I know. So frustrating that I don't want you to touch my mic. Can you go away? Thanks, bye. And it's just, I failed the Y. The Y QTE, and then all of a sudden, he's dead. First person dead. Whew. And that heartbeat thing, they were spaced out so oddly that it felt like sometimes I would click too fast, and then other times I would click too slow, but they were spaced out like the exact same distance. Just very frustrating. Another thing that was frustrating was those camera angles. I can't even get over them. Yeah. Like I mentioned before, with me going right when the game's trying to force me to go left, I was expecting secrets like premonitions or the premonition pictures, or like notes or journal entries, pictures, dog tags. I was expecting more things like that filling out the world. There were so many secrets to find. I feel like I found maybe 15 out of 50. And the premonitions, I believe I got like 6 out of about 30. Where were all of these? Obviously, there was a possibility that Conrad was one that was going to find some, if not a lot more, of those secrets and premonitions, which is fine. That's my own fault. I'll have to do another playthrough. Obviously, I'll do a playthrough where everybody dies, where everybody lives, and just the women, just the men, because that's how I roll. Those are all achievements. So obviously I will have to do that, but it feels like, especially when it was towards the end, there was a section with Brad and Julia in the engine room. I was walking and exploring, and there were just alcoves and nooks that should have had things in there, but they weren't. There was nothing there. They were just empty. So it felt again like they had an idea, they just didn't follow through. It was also extremely short. It was a short story with a strong promise, and it just did not pan out. The plot alone is great. You know, maybe sure it's a bit overdone or cliche or something like that, but it was a lot of fun. You know, I was excited. Ghost ship being haunted by this, you know, dead captain and his ghost, and oh, there's going to be ghosts of the sailors that he killed, and no, it was just like, I also enjoy the real world aspect of it, where it's just there was a disease thing and a chemical compound that made people go crazy and die. I like that. But at the same time, it would have been nice that, since they were going that route, to then still have someone have a delusion of, you know, seeing the captain, interacting with the captain, things like that. I mean, they had so much promise. So much. This story was such a great idea. It just was too short. It was either too short or too expensive, and I can't figure out which one is bugging me more. It's $30. And this is part 1 of a 5-part anthology. They're all going to be $30. So they're all going to be $30 and probably all roughly about 3.5, 4 hours. It just doesn't seem worth it. Not with all of the poor storytelling and the lack of filling the world, making it feel lived in, and the lack of the realistic characters, because even the evil fishermen, their motivations were weak. Oh, we saw your boat and you're white people and throwing money at us, so we're going to hold you hostage and for ransom. Like, oh, okay. And then, oh, when were you going to tell us about this Manchurian gold? Like, bro, calm down. Like, you're holding us hostage. Why are we going to tell you about that? And then they go to the coordinate. Like, it seemed so flimsy. And, like, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun playing it. Am I going to play it again? I did, and I saved Conrad. And then it's so slow. There's so many parts where it's just you're not doing anything but watching a cutscene. And that's fine to a degree, but it's also boring on repeat. Like, it's one of those where it's going to be a pain to play it through again because of how long the cutscenes are. It doesn't have a high replayability score, in my opinion. Now, obviously that varies person to person. You can watch a dozen of other people's gameplays for Let's Plays and see for yourself, see how they found it. Watch Mojo. Nope, not Watch Mojo. What Culture Gaming did a review on it. It just, it's really up to you. I saw the preview for Little Hope, which comes out in 2020. Am I going to buy it? Yes. It looks so good. And that's what I said about this one. And am I going to be disappointed? Probably, because the camera work and the QTEs and the heartbeat meters, those are all going to be in there. The story writing, probably going to be the same thing. But, it is what it is at this point. It looks great. The setting jives with me more. I think that in a forest around a campfire, I think I'm going to enjoy that a lot more. And so I'm looking forward to it. I've come to terms with the fact that camera's going to be wonky, and I'm going to fail every QTE and heartbeat monitor check thing. But I don't mind. That's where I'm going to go ahead and end today. I feel like that was just a lot of negativity. If you've made it this far, you are a trooper, because that's almost 23 minutes. I want to remind you that you are a wonderful human being. You deserve great things in life. And if you are ever struggling, reach out to a friend, a family member, somebody to listen to you. And you deserve to know that you are valued, that you have worth, and that we are here for you. Whether that's, dropping me a comment down below and we interact in those, or, hitting me up on Twitter and replying to my tweets and seeing those dank ass memes that I share. I haven't shared any lately. I'll fix that. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Sunny Geeky Grove, or on Twitch, Sunny's Geeky Grove. Links are in the description. Like this video if you found it interesting, if you agreed with any or all of the points that I made. Ignore that dislike button if you disagree with anything, because really, it shouldn't be there. It's not. We're just going to go ahead and remove that from YouTube, right? And you can click subscribe. Like I said, it's free. And you can ring that bell to get notified. Watch Mojo has said something about, like, personalized or all for notifications. Like, who cares? Just ring that bell. Click subscribe. Do it. You know you want to. Anyway, my name has been Sunny. Thanks again for tuning in and watching/listening to me ramble on my review. Do I recommend Man of Medan? Sure. Your money, your body, your choice. Synthesize what I've said, watch some playthroughs of mine or somebody else's, and see if it's something that you drive with. But I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern for another podcast episode of Sunny's Geeky Grove. Bye!